the Tech Tuesday concept. The Tech Tuesday is the weekly video web broadcast, if you will, of the newsletter. We get together every Tuesday about this time. We discuss things such as Solid Edge, NX, different CAD packages, different CAM packages, the software that we carry at CamLogic. So today's event is What's New in Solid Edge ST4. This is part 4 of a multiple-part series getting ready for the one-day ST, What's New in ST events that are coming up very soon. Very quickly, who is CamLogic and what do we do? CamLogic has been in business since 1995. We are a dedicated service provider of engineering software and hardware as well. We are a Siemens business partner. We can best describe our offerings into 3 different areas: 3D scanning, CAD/CAM, and 3D printing. On the CAD side, the CAD/CAM side, and the CEA and PLM side, we are a Siemens business partner, which gives us the ability to sell and also service and represent NX, Solid Edge, FEMAP, and Team Center. We also do Esprit for CAM as well. On the 3D printing side, we are a Z Corp business partner. The Z Corp allows you to take that CAD model, the assembly as you see on the screen, put that actually in the machine. When it's done printing, take your hand, reach in, pull out, blow off the powder. In your hand is your 3D model. Great for presentations, testing, trade shows, things such as that. And then 3D scanning, 2 purposes really. One is reverse engineering. You can take an existing piece and go out there and measure it, get your specs, churn that back into a CAD part. Also, you can take pieces straight off the line, put them in the shape grabber, put them in there, and scan them around. So you imagine taking that piece right off the line, put it in there, scanning it, knowing that the pieces that are coming off of the assembly line there are good. So in this session, we're going to talk about, again, this is a multiple-part series. We're going to talk about what's new in ST4, and we're just going to do a very quick overview. The one-day seminars are actually have been, the invitations have been emailed. If you haven't got one, please let me know at dald@camlogic.com. We'll make sure that you get one. And these videos will be kept for future reference. Today we're going to look at the assembly command. We're going to look at the range, copy and move, activate, the middle plane command, and a few others. So let's go look at what we have here. And I will switch over to this very quick. So the first thing I want to talk about is the range command. And we're going to go ahead and look at this part. I think I'm going to change my view a little bit. I'm just going to go default. It's going to be a little bit easier to see over the course of time. So we're going to go and look at our range command. And range is a new function inside of Solid Edge assembly. It's an assembly constraint. And as you look at this, the cylinder here is mated. And it is mated just like we normally would think of it. But I want to go and work on the idea of not fixed, not floating, but range. So I'm going to go do range, and I will set this at 5 millimeter. to 75 millimeters. So we're going to have a range of 5 to 75 millimeters. Now, what this allows us to do now is to actually take this component and move this back and forth. So it's no longer floating, it's no longer a variable that we had set. It's actually just a range command. And if you notice very quickly, my pan can keep moving, but the range is going to stop, the same way with coming inside. So I can actually run this now by a range. So I know where it's going to end on one side, and I know where it's going to end on another. So that's our range command. Now, the second thing we want to discuss is a few other commands that we have. We're going to look at the deck that we have, and we'll start to work with some other assemblies as well. Okay? So one of the first things I want to do with this deck is to put a roller on the back of this deck. But I want to use this to illustrate the copy and move command inside of Solid Edge. Very strong, very, very powerful. So I have a roller, and I have a bearing. Now, of course, that bearing, I need another bearing on the other side. Times past, I can just copy, paste, and reassociate that to the other end. And we can still do that, but what's very nice about this is I'm going to use the steering wheel, and I'm going to hold down the Shift key, and then I'm going to pick the origin of my steering wheel. Now, the Shift key, by holding the Shift key, it ensures that my steering wheel is going to stay at this orientation. So I'm going to move it to the middle of my assembly, which just happens to be there in the middle. And then I'm going to go ahead and copy, and then I'm going to take the torus and just move this around. So I'm copying the bearing from where it was. I'm going to move it at 180 degrees, and then this is what's new inside of ST4, is it's going to go down there and says, as I bring this over, what would you like to do? And it realizes that it is going to go out there and remate itself to the other side. So my assembly, this is an outflow, if you will, of the assembly relationships command. So as I have this, if I look at this piece is mate, axial align. If I look at this piece maintained that axial alignment and then created a new mate down at the other end. So it's the same set of constraints that the program is automatically built for us. So we're going to go out, finish this. Just leave this roller in as it is, and we'll save it because we're going to use that in just a bit. Back out to our deck. So we're going to start working with this deck, and a couple things I want to introduce, and we'll come back to the roller in a second. One of the things I want to introduce is the new activate button. We're all used to activating and inactivating, and before we'd have to right-click and do our activations. Up next to the home, up next to the select tool in the home ribbon is the activate button. And if you've seen this session before, our sessions before, you've realized that I can put that out on the radial tool menu. So in essence, what I'm saying here is I want to work with this piece and this piece right here. So I'll just take these two pieces and I'll work with those. Now, I want to cover the changes in the fastener system. So we will look over here, and I'm going to take all of the holes on that face, and then I'll pick the back face as we normally do. Now, what's new is the interface inside of the fastener system. It's looked at this hole, if you're unfamiliar with it, it's looked at the hole that says you can run based on the standards I've got set, you can run an M8, an M10, or an M12. I'm going to choose to run an M12. Up in the upper left-hand bolt, or up left-hand the screen, you'll see that the bolt components. So this is actually calling out my bolt. So I'm going to add that fastener to that, and then I'm going to go over to my stack. Now, my top stack, underneath of there, I want just a washer. So I'm going to just take a metric plane washer, and I'm going to add that. Now, if you notice that, since we picked the size 12 bolt, or a 12 millimeter bolt, it's picking the 12 millimeter washer. It's sort of staying in there. And at the bottom, obviously I want a washer, and then I want this nut. I'm going to add that as well. And I'm going to go out, and I'm going to preview this in the assembly. I want to show you what I've got here. So this bolt, washer, and nut is standing over here. But if you've ever tried to work on something on a Saturday afternoon, you realize that if I put the threads out here, we're just going to put mud and gunk and everything on the outside. So I want to be able to flip that stack. So I've actually flipped that stack the way I want it to. What else is new with this is I get to go save these settings. So I'm going to call this M12, and I'm going to save my setting. So what that allows me to do is the next time that I have something like this, in this case, rather than going through the whole thing, I can just pick my M12 and I can say OK and have that stack come right back up. So I don't have to go back and pick everything that I've had before. Again, very, very well thought out, very strong, very powerful set of tools. Now, I want to, again, work on this area, and I'm going to go activate. I want to work with these three areas right here. Now, again, with the move copy command, I'm going to take this bracket here, and I'm going to start to drag this over. Now, this was fully constrained where it was, but yet I need to move it. So I'm dragging this component, and I want to set it to rest over here on some holes, but this part's going to get in the way. So I'm going to do Control-Shift-D, and it is going to hide that while I pick the center. And that's going to move over, and I'm going to tell it to replace where possible. And it's going to go set itself back on there, just like that bearing did. It's going to set itself back there. Now, a couple things I want to do with this. So I want to work on this part in place. One of the nice things that we have now in here is called face relate. I get to, just like in Sketch, relate things that are horizontal, vertical, and that type of thing. I get to do that on parts right here. So as I look at this, I just want this face to relate to be horizontal. And that face is going to go be horizontal. Let's do that again real quickly. And then I want this face to be in the middle of that piece. I want that circle, rather, to be in the middle of that piece, and we'll right-click to accept it. What that allows me to do then is to take this hole as needed and adjust this hole and have the sheet metal piece go with it as we use it. Okay, so we're working live in the context of that assembly. So I want to go bring in that roller that I have. And want to start to put this in to this piece. Now, what's really interesting on the second thing I'm about ready to do is the center plane command. Very strong, very, very powerful, and by the way, very much anticipated, very, very needed. Here's my center plane command, and I'm going to set this to double, and simply I'm going to tell the program this. This face and this face over here is to set between this face and that face right there. Now let's go do that again. Maybe it wasn't that simple. We'll have to find out. So we'll go ahead and assemble. Now we'll do a center plane. Set this to double. So I want this face and this face to set between this face and that face. There we go. So now that is going to set right there in the middle, right between. Now, the whole idea between this, of this, is that it's just going to measure, in this case it's going to measure the roller. It's going to say that it's, you know, X number of inches long, and then I've got X number of available space, and it's going to just set that right in the middle. And I don't have to go, I don't have to do any of that figuring or math or anything that needs to happen before. So we'll do the same thing that we did with the brackets. I'll take this bracket and this bracket, and I'll take them over there. Actually, I want to copy them. There we go. I want to copy them. And I'll take and just copy those. So the originals are setting there. Control-Shift-D, because they're just going to get in the way. I want those to be copied right to there. And as I do, this time I'm going to remove all external, and we'll say go find this. The solid edge is going to go put those out there in place. Again, now we can take this, move it over, add another roller, do what we want to with that. So very strong, very, very powerful set of tools to be able to take parts and just drag them over and have solid edge manipulate those and make them find their own mates and their own axial lines and go through that. Now, as I wrap up on this, just want to set this around and just go out here real quick and just show you just a little more of what's going on with this. So I'm going to set this out here. And I'm going to go out to my ERA. Of course, we're always going to be showing this. And I'm going to choose just to render the area using a new background that we have. And just allow my mower deck to set out there. And then I'm going to go ahead and render the whole scene and give me exactly what I want. So again, very strong, very powerful set of tools that we have, giving us exactly the type of tools that we need. Again, we want to back up. We talked about the range command, being able to set parts in a range, again, from 5 millimeter to 75 millimeter. We talked about the copy and the move, the activate button, the middle plane command, our fastener systems, and our rendering. Feel free to contact us regarding training. We still have open classes all this summer. The fall, we are starting to load up our calendars again. So this fall, we would like to hear from you. We would like to schedule some training with you. Today's webinar can be found out on the CamLogic YouTube channel, and you can see everything that we put out there, plus all of the other Solid Edge videos that we come across as well. We make sure we put them out there for you. So if you would, feel free to give us a call or contact us. Tell us what you need. And by the way, this was the end of the 4-part series on Solid Edge ST4. We will be doing one-day events in cities near you. They're actually coming up very soon. Again, if you haven't got that invitation, give me a call, 248-969-9201, extension 6209, or DaleD@camlogic.com. Let me know if you haven't got an invitation to this. We do expect you, all of our users, all of our friends, to come see this. So things aren't filling up. We would like to hear from you. I do appreciate your time. Thank you very much for your patience, and we will talk with you later. Thank you.
The